of our Launchpad webinar series. Today is the 8th of July. A big welcome back to our ICs in the U.S. that are joining us back after their long weekend and their 4th of July weekend. Must be a pretty busy week for them. There's lots of catching up to do. But we have, again, a really good session lined up. There's a few different things that happen in the world of digital marketing. And we're definitely going to be covering a lot of these news items today. Give me 1 sec. Just going to fix something here on my computer. Okay. All right, we're all set. So I also have my colleague Armando Alas joining us this week as well.
Good morning, everyone. Look forward to a great session this morning. And again, like you said, welcoming back all the ICs from their 4th of July vacation. Hope you'll have fun with your families.
All right. So the usual format, we're going to start off with some latest news and articles. So there's some news that we filtered out that you should definitely be aware of. So we'd be covering that news in the first part of the webinar. And then Armando's got a really cool responsive web design case study that's lined up. Responsive, the whole discussion of responsive web design is kind of heating up because there's two schools of thought. Mobile websites and responsive websites. When should you use what? So it's really in the news with all the different browsers, screen sizes that are out there. Responsive is really getting a nice push. So it's from that perspective that we lined up this particular case study. And we were also getting a lot of questions from the ICs on showcasing any of the responsive projects that we've done. And that's what's going to be taking place today. We'd also be doing a Tool of the Week review. So we have an exciting tool that's lined up that we're going to be reviewing this week in this webinar. And then, of course, we follow up with any questions that you have at the end of this webinar. All right, so let's get started here. So the first news item that we wanted to cover was for all you ICs that are actually doing any PPC campaigns. So there's been a pretty important update when it comes to the AdWords location extension reporting. And this is a feature that, again, was being requested by a lot of the clients for Google AdWords, especially brick and mortar stores. The challenge was that when you're a brick and mortar store and you're basically doing a PPC campaign, you want to be able to target the visitors or people that are seeing your ad really close, because you want to make sure that there's only people within a certain geography that can basically see your ad. So Google has provided that functionality quite a while back, where you could actually set up your campaign based on a central point in Google Maps and then chart out the territory where your ad's going to be displayed. So Google had displayed that functionality and had allowed for that functionality quite a while back. The challenge was with reporting. So when you were getting visitors coming in to your website, you knew that they were coming in from the territory that had been assigned by you in your campaign, but you weren't really sure as to what part of those territories were these visitors coming from. For example, if we take the example of downtown Toronto, for instance, and let's say we have a condo builder, and we're doing a PPC campaign for a condo builder. He wants visitors only from a certain area, from a certain geo-target that are basically coming onto his portal, because that's the kind of people that he wants to attract. Maybe a condo builder is not the best example. Let's say, let's say a grocery store, for example. So Google's allowed for that functionality. We set up the campaign. But the challenge was that, let's say, if the store really wants to identify where these people are coming from, because certain segments of the downtown core are more populated than the others, and the client wants to understand that, they weren't able to do that. So Google got a lot of feedback in terms of the location extension reporting. They've done a change now. So if you look at our screenshot over here, Google's made this change where you can actually now start seeing traction and activity based on distances from your location extension. So based on where your address is, Google can now show you detailed information on what's happening with the visitors at different geo-targets from your location. So for example, in this instance, you can see the activity for visitors within 0.7 miles from your location, within a mile, within 5 miles, 10 miles, 15, 20, 25, 30, et cetera, et cetera. So they've actually broken this functionality down for you so you can really understand as to which demographic, which audience type is actually, what sort of results are they generating for you. This is again really good from the perspective of really understanding as to where you're getting the best traction for your campaign, so you can target your messaging better, and you can, ideally get a better ROI when you're spending your funds. This is a really cool reporting interface because, again, it eliminates a lot of wastage in terms of funds. So if you do see that visitors that are, let's say, beyond 30 miles that are not converting well, or even 20 or 25 miles, you can actually geo-target your campaign better. You can reduce the targeting for your campaign so that you only make it more accessible for people within 10 or 15 miles, because that's really what's giving you the best amount of activity, and that's how you can control the ROI for your campaign. So a great feature that Google's introduced for the AdWords location extension reporting. That's gonna it's gonna give a lot of value-added information and help in controlling the expenses to geo-targets or territories where we're not getting the kind of traction for a campaign that we'd ideally be needing. So this was the first news item of the week. The second news item relates to Google Analytics. And this is, again, something that Google had received a lot of extensive feedback on in terms of separating brand and non-brand performance. Okay? So prior to this change, Google's done this recent change, but prior to this change, what they do is that they basically be giving you an overall data set as far as the channels reporting was concerned. So if you're logged into Analytics, and if you click on Channels, which is right under your Acquisitions tab on the left-hand margin, and you click on Channels, in the past, you'd be getting feedback like direct, organic, PPC, like paid search, referral, display, social, etc., etc. So these are all the default channel groupings that Google's done. There is a way to customize these channel groupings, which we showcased in the analytics demo that we've done. But basically, these are all your default channel groupings that Google has in analytics. So for example, if you want to look at organic search, that's a combination of Google, Yahoo, Bing, and there's about 20 or 30 other search engines that Google looks at when they calculate your organic search traffic and total activity. So organic search gives you total activity in your analytics. Prior to this change, when you were looking at your paid search activity, you just have one tab which was paid search, and you'd be getting an overall number as far as your paid search activity is concerned. What Google's now done is that they have broken down paid search into generic paid search and branded paid search. So branded paid search is all to do with regards to your name, brand, and branded keywords, the name of your company, and any keywords that are related to your company. And then you have your generic paid search. That's got everything to do with non-branded keywords, keywords that are not associated with your company or your brand name, and the performance associated with them. Again, a really useful change because this allows a marketer to look at what's taking place as far as paid search, as far as your branded and non-branded traffic is concerned. How is that performing in terms of click-through rates, bounce rates, goal conversions, value of the conversions, and then again take some steps in terms of making the necessary changes as far as the campaign is concerned. Again, this is a much requested feature from Google for a lot of the AdWords advertisers, so as to start seeing branded and non-branded separately when it comes to the overall analytics reporting. It's also good from like a high-level decision-maker perspective, because a lot of the companies do definitely want to protect the brand, but at the same time they want to also expand on their non-branded searches because they want to basically make their product more accessible, product and services, and they want to push it out to an audience that's not really aware of their brand. And this is where this statistic, this overall metric comes into play. It's a pretty good metric to be aware of. So now Google Analytics so basically has this reporting now in your channels tab where they're separating out branded and non-branded performance for the paid search category. The other change also has to do with Google. So Google's done a very important change when it comes to your Google authorship. All right. So what they've done is that they've basically dropped the profile photo that will be visible whenever they'd be showcasing a result with an authorship. So there's 3 screenshots that you're seeing in my screen right now. So you basically have the second screen, which is how the results were displayed in the past, where you see Barry Schwartz's screenshot, you see his picture, and then you see the news item that's related to him. And then you also see how many Google Plus Circle members he has in his Google Plus account. The first screenshot, which is John Resick, is the new interface, is how Google's now going to start displaying the authorship results. So you'll basically have the name, you'll have the information associated with the person, whatever the content is that's getting indexed. There's no image, and there is no the Circle Plus, Google Plus Circle numbers that are listed. So these are the two changes that they basically made as far as authorship in the search results is concerned. And in terms of a comment from Google, they weren't very clear in terms of why they did this change, but what they did mention the fact was that there's been no evidence as far as lower click-throughs or higher click-throughs are concerned. But from all practical purposes, there is definitely going to be a click-through difference. Like with the image, you'd definitely be getting a lot better click-through. One of the reasons that Google has probably done this, and there's a lot of buzz again in the community about this, is because a lot of the images that Google was trying to index for the authorship were not necessarily correct images. Like they weren't of the correct resolution. As a result of which the overall user experience was really, really bad. So nobody wants to see a cropped up image or an image of just a small part of the person's face as opposed to the full profile pic. And as a result of that, Google's just said no more pictures. We're just going to have the simple Google authorship listing, and we're also going to take out the Google Plus Circle count that we'd normally display in the authorship result. So again, you can see the first example, which is ejohn.org, is how the results are now going to get displayed. SearchEngineLand.com, Barry Schwartz's example was how the results were displayed in the past, where you had his picture and you had the Circle memberships. So that's now changed. Interesting, where they have actually done this change even in Google News. So when you're looking at that Nexus press release, as you can see, they have actually taken out the Google Plus Circle count even from the Google News results. That was not the case. You would actually be getting, like, for example, this particular post is written by Christopher Dawson. You'd actually be seeing how many Google Plus Circle members were there in Christopher's Google Plus account. Not anymore. So they've taken this part out as well. So this is how your authorship results are going to be looking going forward. All right, so here's another interesting development that Google's been working on. So you might already be aware of this, but you must have started noticing that whenever you type in some specific queries in Google, they're starting to show you results right in the search engine result itself. So you don't even have to go to the page. You are seeing the entire result right there in the page itself. Let's give you an example. So let's say I'm on Google right now, and I type in how to make an apple pie. And if you do this search, as you can see, the result comes up, and then I'm actually seeing the results for making the apple pie right there itself. So you have all these steps that are basically laid out, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then it actually shows you where they took this particular result from. It's from Pillsbury, how to make a perfect apple pie. So Pillsbury is where you got this information from. And then if you actually need more information, you can go to the website. You can click on it, you can go to the website, and then you can actually look at the full instructions. But the fact of the matter is that you're actually getting the steps right away there and then itself. There's a little feedback icon over here as well. So you can actually provide feedback to Google. So they give you a variety of different options. This answer is awesome, incorrect, not relevant, something else. Why do you think so? And then you just hit send. And if you have any legal issues, you can make a legal removal request by clicking on the link at the bottom, right? So the reason why Google's trying to make the knowledge graph better, they say, is because of user experience. They want to have the visitors getting the best experience, getting results quicker, faster, more accurate results. That's what Google's all about, and which is the reason why they basically indexing the content right in their search results page itself. So they're eliminating a step for you where you actually have to go to the website, Pillsbury, and then get the information. Now you're actually getting the information right on the page itself. It's definitely good news for Google because Google's making the search more relevant, but it's bad news for the website. I mean, imagine the amount of time this website actually takes for putting this content together, writing good original content, doing all of the hard work where they actually make it to the Google's knowledge graph and Pillsbury actually getting displayed in the knowledge graph. And then imagine a visitor actually comes in, looks at the steps, and then doesn't even click on the website, doesn't even go there. So it's kind of a controversial change that they've done because there's again two sides to the story. The first side, which is obviously Google's side, is that we're rewarding our users with quicker results, so that so we are eliminating a step of actually going to the website and getting the results. And then the other school of thought is the actual website itself saying, hey, now you're taking traffic away from me, because the only way that I'm actually making money is when people come to my website, they look at the content that I have, they also click on some of the ads, and the sponsors that are paying for my website and all of my expenses related to my website so that I can produce good quality content. Okay, so it's not coming up for how to bake a cake. Maybe a more specific query, how to make a potato salad, let's see. Okay, it's not coming up for the potato salad either, but it's actually coming up more and more for like a lot of frequent searches. I'm sure some of you would have actually seen the knowledge graph as well. So again, two schools of thought. Is it a positive change? Definitely for the visitors, I think it is positive, but for the website, not that great. By the way, this is a really interesting article on how this guy on Kickstarter has raised over $35,000 on making a potato salad. So it's a very interesting read. Check it out. All right, so back to our coverage. So there's a very good article on Search Engine Watch recently about SEO website audits and their relevance and their importance. I really suggest that everybody takes a look at this article. It's really relevant. It's very, very useful. It actually explains the whole website audit concept quite extensively. So if you're looking at my screen right now, I have the whole audit part opened up, this particular article opened up. And Christine had written this article, fantastic article. So what she goes about reviewing in this article is website audits that are done by tools and that are done by humans. They both have their pros and their cons, their benefits and advantages. She goes on to explain the benefits. So for example, for tools-based audits, she talks about what the benefits are, what they're good for, what they're not good for. Then she talks about the human-run audits. And she actually gives a sample of audits that they actually do in their company and the areas that they cover. So as you can see, their manual audit is a comprehensive site review that is conducted and checks a website for all of these different areas, like, for example, accessibility, internal linking, robots, directives, site performance, URL structure, HTML source code, site architecture, et cetera, et cetera. So these are all the different elements that are a part of their comprehensive site review. Now, she also talks about what these comprehensive site audits are not for or what they are for. And she very clearly states that these are definitely not for small site owners with smaller budgets, because there is a lot of investment when it comes to a comprehensive site review. However, there is a lot of benefit. If in case you're a larger company, then the audit definitely pays for itself with recommendations that it provides, right? The article goes on to explain what the goal of a human-run audit is, what are some of the red flags for such an audit, right? And then the most important aspect is how much should you price out your audit? How much should you really value this particular audit? So, for example, she gives you a range that if you're running an audit through a tool, you can price it anywhere from $500 to $3,000 for a small website if it's based on tools. If it's a human-based audit where somebody physically is actually looking at the website and is doing all of these manual checks and then putting in their recommendations, You can price it anywhere from $1,500 to an average, the industry average, which is between $3,000 and $8,000, right? And this does not include a penalty-based audit, because a penalty-based audit is it does require a lot more in-depth analysis and a more thorough research, and that's where these audits are more expensive. But a great article overall. You know, it also talks about a lot of the companies that provide free audits, you know, what you should be watching out for, and again, explains the benefit of the audit. Audits are an investment, not a simple cost, right? What do you get when you pay for audits? You obviously get the auditor's knowledge and experience. You get the analysis level. You get reporting. You get supporting documentation that can save you a lot of time and effort. In case you're a bigger company that can obviously afford this audit and realize or understand how your website is positioned as far as SEO is concerned. So a great article. It really addresses the whole topic on SEO audits quite extensively. And again, for the benefit of everybody that's actually logged on to this webinar, via WSI ALM do provide you with website audits. There is a combination of a manual and a tool-based element that goes into our audits. These audits are done absolutely complimentary. They're the reports between 6 and 7 pages. So if you need an audit, just send either myself or Armando an email, either at armando@wsilm.com or info@wsilm.com. All we need is just your prospect's website and 2 or 3 competitors. The more the better, maximum of 5. So you can give us 5 competitors. You can give us the prospect's website and their competitors, and that's all that we need. And then after that, we can conduct this audit for you, and we can have this report prepared for you within 48 hours of you requesting this report. It's absolutely complimentary. It's a pre-sale service that we have for you. So definitely make use of it. It's a great report that gives you a lot of preliminary understanding of where the client's website is at. And you can definitely use that along with your presentation that you're doing once you've conducted the IBA. So once again, take a look at this article. It's really useful, and just take a read through it. It's going to give you a lot of tactics and a lot of sales tips as well in terms of how to pitch audits to companies. Great. So another news on Google Ad Grants. So for those of you that are not aware, Google has this whole program. It's called Google Ad Grants, Google Grants for charities, where they basically give up to $10,000 of in-kind advertising, PPC dollars, to eligible companies. For a company to be eligible, there's a whole bunch of different criteria, like you should be a registered charity, you should be able to give out charitable receipts, and they have it in a variety of different countries. They have it in the US, the UK, Canada, and there's about 20 other countries where they have Google Ad Grants that are available for registered eligible nonprofit charities. What they basically do is that they basically give you $10,000 of AdWords money that you can basically spend for your client. So there's no physical money that gets transferred, but you'll just be getting credits up to $10,000 a month. So that means $120,000 a year of funds that you can spend. We have some fantastic case studies on Google Grants. We've done this for a lot of companies, and there's some fantastic case studies and testimonials that we have of this being really successful for the nonprofits that we work with. So please, once again, reach out to us if you have charities that you want to pitch this to, nonprofits that you want to pitch this to. You know, they're always tight with funds, and this is a great opportunity for them to market themselves. You know, whether it's fundraising, whether it's just a matter of increasing their exposure and visibility, Google Ad Grants for nonprofits is a fantastic option that every nonprofit should take advantage of. Now, the money does come with certain restrictions. For example, you cannot bid more than $2 for every keyword. That is a limitation. And you cannot do display advertising. You can only do Google search advertising through the Google Search Network, not through the display network. But that's okay, which is where our expertise comes in, so that we can efficiently set up your campaign and utilize the funds effectively, go after the low-hanging fruit, you know, the long-tail keywords, so that they don't cost as much. They're not that aggressive when it comes to a bid, and you have pretty good positions for the targeted keywords for that particular profit or nonprofit or charity. So the news, so this is just a little bit of a background of what Google Grants is. The news is that there is a second level to Google Grants, which is if your charity has been spending $10,000 continuously for 3 months in a row, Google then would basically ramp up your ad grants, and instead of giving you $10,000 a month, they'd actually bump up your credit to $40,000 a month. They've been doing this previously, but then that program was shut down. And now the program has restarted. This is latest news that's coming in right from Google Forums. This essentially just happened on I believe, a week back or so, where they've once again reopened the opportunity where nonprofits that actually utilize ad grants and spend $10,000 a month consistently are now eligible for upgrading their spend to $40,000 a month, which is huge. That's a lot of money. $40,000 a month translates to almost $500,000 a year. So that's a huge, huge opportunity to take advantage of. Now, obviously, the ramping up of the spends from $10,000 to $40,000 comes with some criteria. You have to establish a certain click-through rate, et cetera, et cetera. But if you need more information on this, please get in touch with us so we can provide you with more information. But this is the latest news straight off the block, which is if you're spending $10,000 continuously, they're ramping your spend to $40,000. So a great opportunity for nonprofits to take advantage of. Okay, at this stage, let me pass the mic over to Armando with his case study on responsive web design for one of our clients that we just recently did. Over to you, Armando.
Yeah, thanks, Vinish. So today's case study is a very short and simple case study on responsive web design. And this is also specifically a good case study for two types of clients. One would be a small client that's with a small website that they're looking at rebranding and as well adding some new components and making it responsive. So it's a great case study for you to share with your clients. Sometimes clients may think of responsive as a large endeavor, but in this case, you know what, this company, a small company, it's actually an auction company, was able to deliver a new rebrand their company as well as do this with responsive design. The name of the company is called Reinhardt Auctions. It's a local auctioneer in the Toronto area, and then this also goes for the second type of clients that may be interested. I will tell you that I was in doing this website with the team and obviously the IC from design to the launch. Basically, I will tell you that auctioneer websites are pretty bad. There's not a lot of good auctioneer websites, specifically for local auctioneers. Obviously, the big companies do have good sites. So if in your area you have auctioneers, and you may be able to use this as a sample for case study, because I will tell you that most of the auctioneers have very either antiquated HTML websites or no websites at all. So it is an industry that you can review. Now the key thing here about Reinhardt Auctions is that if you just go back, Avinish, to the presentation, is that they had a website which is a top website that I put there, the top screenshot, the blue one, which was actually it was also a WSI website because it was made by WSI, but it was using .NET. It was a very old design, pretty much, so I think it was like a 10-year-old site, 10-plus-year-old site, as a matter of fact. And it used a very old non-SEO friendly CMS system. So number one, what we needed to do, or what needed to happen for this website, was to rebrand. Now the key thing that happened was, the main reason the client decided to rebrand is because he is the lead auctioneer in the Canadian version of the show Storage Wars. So he's been getting a lot of media, I guess advertising, a lot of media exposure, and people are starting to kind of go to his old website and try to book him for different types of auctions: private, real estate, storage, charity. And in reality, it wasn't given the image that he wanted to portray. So one of the key things was to really rebrand, give him a bit of a facelift into his rebranding. and that was the key thing for this website, to give, because of the free media exposure that he's been having for the past year in Canada, because the Storage Wars Canada launched in last summer, and it's been a year. He wanted to kind of take some of that and rebrand so he could get more business. And what we did was, apart from standard features such as WordPress CMS, a blog, social media, icons and badges, one of the key things was to get people to book them for different auctions. So it's a website with stronger call to actions, more conversion optimization, very direct, and also inviting people to go to upcoming auctions that he's hosting as an auctioneer. So the two elements that we did for this website that were important were not only the conversion forms, the telephone numbers, and so on, but also an events calendar where if you go to upcoming auctions, if you go to the website, sorry, I'll kind of briefly show you. Yeah, so this is upcoming auctions, and you can find different events. You can scroll down, or you can view by month. Right now, they just started. We just launched it about a week ago, so the client's still kind of just doing these, populating the website, and the whole, you can do by search, by dates, and so on. So it was a very important feature for them to have this events calendar. In some auctions, they will have images, and some they will have a lot of content. Basically, for them it was very important to showcase the different auctions, and also show that he's a very busy man. So we kind of worked with the client to develop this website. We also did a blog because we're going to start kind of promoting his brand. There's a picture of Don there, not the greatest picture, but he's this is a better picture of him. Basically, we're going to be doing some SEO work to rank locally. So again, it's this website is responsive. You can he wanted people that were watching the show and were on their tablet to kind of look him up and be able to go through his website and have them book him as a professional auctioneer. So if you go through the site, you'll see there's a lot of components that are very driven to conversion optimization. If you go back to the slide, please, and the tools that they have are very, very the WordPress tools that we use, such as the events calendar, very easy to use from an administrative perspective as well, from a technical perspective as a web admin, but it gives a lot of information. There's a bit of customization done to a few of them, but overall, it's a very simple but very up-to-date, I guess, clean, crisp design website. Now, the next steps, and I'll keep you posted on this because we just launched this, will be to leverage from the TV show and create a community of followers through their social media properties such as Google+, which we're going to be launching probably in the next 2 weeks. He wanted the new website to be out and about before we begin this, so that's where we're focusing. And also from an SEO perspective, he wants to really have his name all over the so here's a copy of the website in mobile version. So it's a good example for if you have a client that a small company that wants to know more about responsive. Here's a website that you can share with them. But as I was saying, he really wants to now focus on his auctions business. I've shared his other website, which is Reinhardt Trailers, which is more of a trailers dealership website, but this is the one that really focuses on him. So anyhow, this is a great example for a new client or an existing client that wants a responsive website. And also in your area, if there are auctioneers, I think it's a market that there is potential there, because their websites, judged from our research, were very poorly done unless they're major auction houses, right? So this is Reinhardt Auctions. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll send you some more details about Reinhardt Auctions, and I'll keep you posted on the success of their website as well as their social media and SEO strategies in the next few months.
Fantastic. That's great. Thanks so much, Armando. And again, we were getting a lot of questions from the ICs on whether they should actually go in for mobile websites or should they go in for a responsive design. Now, this question is not a simple question to answer. It's got a lot of aspects to it. Responsive is good when your site's simple and it's a few pages and you need it to work correctly, accurately in all different browser settings. A mobile website is also good in itself when you have a very extensive website and you need to really have control over the look and feel of the website when it's being accessed from a mobile device. That's where a mobile website comes into play. So there's two different aspects to mobile website development. We can actually build mobile websites. They're hard-coded, and you can see sites like mobile.websitename.com. That's a mobile website that's been built for that particular customer, and it's a specific website just for mobile itself. Then there's responsive, where you just have one design, but the design behaves differently when it's actually viewed from different browser sizes. So two different aspects. Again, reach out to us if you have questions in terms of what you feel is more beneficial for your client, whether it's responsive or whether it's a mobile site, and we will definitely give you advice on that. Great, moving on. So the tool of the week this week, I wanted to review the Page Speed Insights tool with Google once again, because again, we got a lot of questions from the ICs on this, and there's so much focus on website speed nowadays, and Google also has acknowledged the fact that website speed does play a pretty significant part as far as your rankings are concerned. So Google's provided this tool. It's accessible on this link, developers.google.com, and then you have the Page Speed Insights. This is the exact URL. And this actually gives you a very good insight on what your page speed is like and what needs to be done so as to make your page speed better. So let's do a little sample test here. So, let's try a site like CNN. It's a pretty big site. And let's hit Analyze. As you can see, the tool is really fast, so it's going to analyze this whole website really quickly, and it's going to break down the information for us. So it's just running the tool, as you can see. Once it's run CNN, it'll give you a little preview of the website on the little iPhone on the right-hand side. I should say an Android device, not an iPhone. I'm on Google. And then it actually gives you mobile and desktop. So it gives you two different versions of this particular website, mobile and desktop. So now, and it also gives you a score. The score is out of 100. The closer that you're at 100, the better it is, right? So normally we see sites scoring about 60 or so. If you're 60 and up, you're okay, because look at CNN. Their desktop is scoring at 53 out of 100, and their mobile scoring at 59 out of 100, right? And they give you recommendations on what you should be doing in order to increase your site speed, right? So, for example, one of the techniques that they're telling CNN to do for their desktop version so as to make it faster is leverage browser caching. How to fix it? They actually give you a full sort of like breakdown. Again, coding stuff, but they give you a full sort of a breakdown on what are the elements that are actually causing the site to be loading up slow right now, what needs to be done in order to actually fix it, right? There's 3 past rules, and then it actually gives you what these rules are. Avoid landing page redirects, minify your CSS, and reduce your server response time. And in this case, CNN's obviously passed these areas, right? And there's other aspects that it's asking you to fix, like prioritize your visible content, minify your JavaScript, minify your HTML, and it actually gives you full sort of like detailed instructions for what you need to do that. And then you also have the mobile version of this website and the speed associated with the mobile version, and then again the associated fixes as far as the the mobile website is concerned. It scored a 99 of 100 on the user experience, which I think is fantastic, and it shows you all the different rules that are passed, right? Avoid plugins, configure the viewpoint, size content of viewpoint, use legible font sizes, size tap targets appropriately, show how to fix it. So here's giving examples of how to fix all of these elements, right? So a great tool. Again, this can be utilized for some pretty quick previews that you can do for your prospects, and it can be a really quick upsell. So, you're going to a prospect, small prospect, let's say, let me think of a website here. So let's say we have a local prospect. Let's just look at Yahoo, for example. Again, a big website. But you'll see how quickly this tool actually runs the report. You see that? So like it's already done about 60%. There you go. So a huge, massive website like Yahoo that's got like millions of pages, it can analyze in less than like 4 seconds or 5 seconds. And then it gives you two areas to consider, the mobile area and then the desktop area. Yahoo scoring fantastic on the desktop, and 83 out of 100 is a really, really good score. And then the mobile is what really needs to be improved upon. It's a 55 out of 100 right now for mobile. So really, really good tool for prospects that you want to pitch to, because page speed is a huge component of Google's algorithm now in order to rank your sites higher, because they are looking for a good user experience. They don't want users clicking on a result and then that result takes about 10 or 11 seconds to load, frustrating the visitor. So you can run a quick check, the quick diagnostic, even when you're actually at the prospect's office. Show them, look, your website's loading really, really slow for your mobile and for your desktop. Here's the speed. And then you can actually do a quick sort of like a sell for just increasing the speed of the website right there itself. And that's a quick little upsell. And then once you get in there, then that opens the door for further conversation and other marketing activities that you can actually recommend to the prospects. But this is a quick fix that you can just get in and help the client with when it comes to their marketing activity. Fantastic. So this was the tool that we had for this week. Once again, a little bit about us, and then do take advantage of our complimentary audits that we provide. So just send us an email. Our email is right here. If you need any audits done, it's a 7 to an 8-page report that we can provide for your prospects. It's absolutely complimentary. There's no limits to using the number of reports you can. The only request that we have is that if we do assist you in the pre-sale process, when the client does come on board, please choose us to do the work. That's the only request that we have from our side, but there is no limit. You can request as many reports as you want, send us a request, and we will prioritize and process these complimentary website audit reports for you. And it takes us 48 hours to produce these reports. Great, let's take some questions here. So Adrian had a question on the link for the website audits. Yep, so it's actually an article in Search Engine Land, and the link's actually on the presentation itself right here. We'll send you a separate email with the audits. Great information about Google Grants. We'll definitely take advantage of that. Terrific. Excellent. Great. I think that's about all the questions that we have for this week. Once again, thanks for joining us on this edition of our Launchpad webinar series. We'll be uploading this in our YouTube channel shortly, so if you did miss a part of it, feel free to just browse our channel and then take a look at the entire Launchpad webinar for today. Great. We will see you next week and hope everybody has a terrific week. Thanks again. Take care.